to be sharing some information about fundraising. One particular fundraiser that's happening in right now is being conducted by Liz Clarke, and she's a music therapist in California around the LA area, and she is doing what I'm calling an extreme fundraiser. But I'll let her explain all that to you now. So, Liz Clarke, thank you so much for agreeing to let me talk to you today and share it with the world.
You're welcome.
So Liz, what is Bald Love?
Bald Love is a fundraiser that I'm doing for my work. The name came from one of my students. I told her that I was going to be shaving my head and that I would be bald. And I asked her, so what do you think I should call it? And she looked at me and kind of tried not to laugh as she pictured me with a bald head. And she said, oh, the Bald Love. I was like, oh, that's kind of perfect, actually. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, it's super perfect.
The cool thing about the title is our CEO of the company, ASD, always likes to include the word love in everything. And so it's kind of perfect that she called it Bald Love because, well, it is love for my students,
Totally.
giving up my hair. So, but it's also like a big part of the foundation of the company.
So you work for ASD? What is that company? What does that stand for?
It's Arts and Services for Disabled. And our philosophy is love before learning.
Nice.
So that's the big things. So you have to love someone before and build a relationship before they'll learn.
So you mentioned that this is a fundraiser. So what are you raising the funds for?
I'm raising funds specifically for a MacBook to use for GarageBand, for recording projects. I've started some. I'd like to continue them, and I was using my own computer, but we have a technology policy now where we can't use our own.
Yeah.
But it's just better in the long run anyways if we have our own that belongs to the company. Just looking forward to continuing those projects and seeing what the students can do with the computer, getting some adaptive equipment as well to go along with it, and getting their input on the editing process, like just having them just show their creative spirit and being as involved in the actual hands-on.
Yes.
Too would be awesome.
Well, so when did you start this fundraiser, and when will it end?
I started with the idea in about October of 2010, and I actually shaved my head, had the event on December 10th, 2010.
So how in the world did you ever get this idea to fundraise in this way by shaving your hair off?
Well, I was at my running club one night, and I had been growing my hair for no particular reason, and it was getting a little bit long and obnoxious. And I thought, well, maybe I should cut it off to my shoulders and donate to Locks of Love. Because I did that after I got married. My hair was pretty long, and I cut it to about here and donated to Locks of Love, and that was nice. I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking, I got this crazy idea in my head, well, what if I just shaved it all off? Like, my hair's kind of annoying when I run. I have to put it in a braid or like some sort of like bun or something, and it kind of flops all over the place. And so I was just thinking, what if I just shaved it all off? And so I kind of brought it up to a couple of my running buddies, and they're like, yeah, you should do it. We'll help you, spread the word.
Right.
I kind of had the idea. I played around with it. I asked my husband what he would think if I did it, because I didn't want to do it without his permission. He kind of loves my hair, so it was kind of a big deal. And so I just went for it.
You sure did. Okay. So what does your workplace think of this whole thing? You kind of gave me a little tidbit of that earlier. What do they think about your fundraiser? And I think that you are an extreme fundraiser. I would call this an extreme fundraiser. Mm-hmm. Because you're altering your body to raise some money, which isn't a bad thing. Please don't think I'm saying that, but it is like completely out of the box. So what does your workplace think about the extreme fundraiser?
Well, we're kind of an out of the box type of group. I actually did my first field work at the company in 2003, and I had short, spiky blue hair at the time. I was in college, and I
Right, of
experimented with
course.
my hair back then too. And yeah, they thought that was great. So when I brought this up, my immediate supervisor was totally shocked, and she said, "No way, you're going to do that." I talked to the CEO, and she said, "I'm crazy," but they actually did have an employee that shaved her head for a fundraiser before, and she
Mm.
thought it would be wonderful.
Yeah, it was
So
time,
she was
right?
totally
Time for
for it.
another one.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody's done anything crazy in a while. It's about
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. What about your family? What did they say about this whole, about the you being bald? Did they? I mean, you mentioned your husband. What about anyone else?
hmm Well, my dad actually had a pretty surprising reaction. He said he was humbled by
Oh,
this whole idea, just in the sense of that I would do something this selfless, he said. And to me, I mean, it does seem selfless, but at the same time, it's like my hair was so annoying to me that it's almost like selfish to a point.
hmm,
It's like I want to do this, and you know, the idea just kind of came like out of that. But I did kind of have both ideas at the same time in the back of my mind, like shaving my head and fundraising. And somehow it just like some connection happened in my mind that night. I was like, wait, I could do it as a fundraiser, and then it would serve a purpose other than just like me wanting to not have hair anymore. It's
hmm.
like for the greater good.
Exactly, exactly. You're like the ultimate multitasker, really.
There you go.
So, a lot of music therapists participate in fundraisers for their specific music therapy departments. Can you give, now that you have fundraising experience, as you are the fundraiser and the fundraisee, I guess, can you give any tips for music therapists out there on just starting the fundraiser process?
Okay. Well, I would just say be creative. If you have an idea, you can make it, you can tie it in. You wouldn't necessarily think bald and music therapy would go together. Um, so just whatever idea you have, something that you're passionate about, something that you want to do, and just tie them in together and get people excited about it. Be excited yourself, and of course, if you're doing music therapy, you're probably excited about your job already, and just bringing that excitement to other people. And I think the blog really helped too because then people can read updates, and I also did a lot of updates on Facebook. So just getting like the social media aspect of it and just putting it all the time and like updating my Facebook picture to different crazy hairstyles and passing out business cards that are specific to my fundraiser.
So, you've been updating the world with your blog. What is your blog? How do we get to it?
Mhm. Well, it's baldloveasd.blogspot.com.
Thank you so much for letting me talk to you about this today and sharing your story.